you're dragging him down to Suvarol for another one of your little initiation runs. 10 Johns to the surface, 12 dead rooks. You'd think by now you would have given up on that goddamn campfire story.
Crix's legacy is no story, Neva. We've got fresh eyes in the fleet. And if these two want to impress, they're going to help me search those ruins.
I hope you're right, Dale. That new code we grabbed for the lock cost us a ton of credits. And a decent captain.
This initiation, as Neva calls it, is your chance to see where it all began. On Suvorov with Jasper Crix. Crix led the riots that gave birth to the Crimson Fleet. And if his legacy is still out there, we're going to be the ones to find it.
What's this code Nova talks about, or that Neva's talking about?
Through a bit of luck and a hell of a lot of cash, Neva was able to get her hands on an access code to the inside of the lock. This will be the first time someone from the Crimson Fleet has set foot in there for, well, since Crix left the place behind. It has been frustrating being this close to potential clues, but not being able to find a way through those prison walls.
So you take every new pirate on these initiations?
Of course. Where else could I find such a perfect location to weed out any rooks who'd be wasting the fleet's time?
Maybe you should tell me more about Crix's legacy.
Before Crix left the fleet, he left a message talking about a major score. One that would set up the fleet to be a big player in the settled systems. Somewhere down the line, they started calling it Crix's legacy. And everyone who's tried to find it has wound up empty-handed, missing, or dead. If we're gonna beat those odds, we'll first need a lead. And I would wager we will find one on Suvorov.
Dale's leaving out the best part. That this whole search is based on a handful of words on a very old slate. Crix left a lot of big talk on that recording, and not a lot of facts. Some of us believe in it more than others.
Don't listen to her. When we get our hands on Crix's legacy, the fleet will be operating at a completely different level. We will become more than a match for UC System.
We'll be unstoppable.
Exactly. Now you're beginning to understand. Okay, enough discussion. We have got a lot of work to do. To that end, the next stop is the lock. I've had Jazz feed the coordinates into your ship's computer. Since Mathis doesn't have a ship, he's going to ride with me. I'll see you down there, Rook. Don't keep me waiting.
Is this important? Because I'm pretty sure you've been given orders.
Oh yeah, we did. I think it was it over here? Right there. That. Let me just mark it off my list. Regarding the specifications for my interface, I'm going to need to make a few minor adjustments. Galbank is switching to an orthogonal hexabyte encryption, so I want to crank up the core clock on my ARM hardware. You can probably get that equipment from Ryujin. I also need to have a storage injector port added so I can keep any damn trace packets off my system. It probably won't hurt to throw in some electromag protection too. The electrical system on the key is terrible, and a short circuit could fry the whole setup. Last, but not least, I might need a few cushions for the chair in the Reckoner's core. They're wearing a bit thin. Alright. Interview number 6.
What the future holds for the Crimson Fleet.
Changes are coming, Gale. Huge changes.
simple. I refuse to allow the UC to spin or bury the story, making it sound like they're in complete control of the situation. I'm gonna tell you right now, they aren't.
Why does the Crimson Fleet need to make this mysterious move that you're being so evasive about?
I know SysDef instructed you to draw this meeting out as long as possible. So let me sum this up. I intend to make sure that the Crimson Fleet becomes the United Colony's worst nightmare. And nothing, I mean nothing in this universe, will stop me from achieving that goal.
There are those that would disagree with you and claim this interview is grandstanding, or worse, a recruitment tool. After all, SSNN reaches every corner of the settled systems, and your aspirations could inspire the directionalists to turn to the fleet.
You and the sheep that listen to your garbage can believe whatever the hell you want. You were so worried about what I had to say, you wouldn't have allowed yourself to be brought here.
That is entertaining. And that's number.
Tell us about your arrest.
Oh, my arrest was spectacular. Definitely one for the record books. UC Security sent an armada after our little fleet of ships and picked us off one by one until the remainder of us made it to the wheel.
For a listener's benefit, that was the star station in orbit around Volii that you destroyed just before your arrest, correct?
You see, that's what they'd have you believe, but the truth is much less sinister. There was a firefight on the wheel when they tried to bring us in. We holed up, but UC Security unleashed hell. The damage they caused was catastrophic. We only surrendered so we wouldn't die when the station exploded.
Well, the UC says you set demolition charges to try and cover your tracks and make your escape.
That's their story. You'll have to go with your gut on what you think really happened. Anyway, they took us in and tossed us into the lock. That lovely resort they opened on Suvorov.
And you were imprisoned there for how long?
Well, it was supposed to be for life, Gail. But I ended up serving 2 years before I decided I'd had enough.
Is there any particular reason that you started the riots that eventually led to the worst prison break in United Colony's history?
Yes. I'm quite proud of that, actually. I honestly didn't think it would go as well as it did. As for the reason, well, it's simple. The UC were treating us like animals. The conditions in the lock were ridiculously bad and no one cared. That's why they stuck us on that ice ball in the first place. Out of sight, out of mind.
Your escape caused the deaths of many that were stationed at the lock. Some would brand that as a bit dismissive for what you're describing as a protest. If you were simply advocating for your fellow inmates,
This is
why didn't you just go through the proper
exactly
channels?
what I pictured of the Crimson
And what
Fleet.
the hell was I supposed
To
to
parents.
do? Send a strongly
right
worded
patches.
letter to my duly appointed representative? Wake up. The UC only responds to actions, not words. In my mind, there was no other choice. You know what? Let's move
So
past
it was
my
either
time
join
in
the
lock
fleet
so we can
or take
get to the point of
Here to
this
upgrade that
goddamn...
ship of yours?
Figured this would.
So, looks like we got ourselves a new rook. Once again, I'm Jazz, resident engineer here. Like Neva said, you need ship parts, repairs? I'll hook you up. As long as your credits are good.
Alright. Well, I do hope the fleet has a wider variety than the UC and Freestar Collective.
It may not be wider, but it's not on the books, if that's what you're getting at. I can guarantee your ship will be in good hands. So if you're looking for an upgrade, let me know. We got the best selection in the settled systems. Illegal, unregistered, recalled. We sell it all. No questions asked.
Well, I'm always looking for an edge.
Anything that keeps the UC and Freestar Rangers off your tail is a must-have in my book. Just let me know when you want to talk business.
Well, mind helping me with my ship then?
All business and no fun, huh? What do you need?
Let's view and modify our ship a little.
Sure. Let me punch that up, and we can have at it.
Yes. So we're going to look at the shipbuilder. Because where I'm sitting, I don't have the funds yet to go for the C-class jump drive that I want. That is okay. But what I do have, do I have enough for that? Yes, let's duplicate that and put that there. Okay. Yes. It does adversely affect that, but our crew max is now up to 7 if I go with that. Which does help. Now then, another little thing I want to check, which is totally here in the Habs. That's mess hall. And that's a different equation at that point. And that has shielded cargo. 2,000 shielded cargo.